All right, guys, hope everyone's doing well, enjoying this beautiful summer. This video, I'm going to talk about how to improve the overall handling of your Tundra and kind of, what it comes with and, the pros and cons and whatnot. So if you guys don't know, you have the Gen 2 and the Gen 2.5. The TRD Sport model was introduced in 2018, so that'd be a Gen 2.5. And only the Sport from the factory was optioned with TRD front and TRD rear sway bars. All Tundras from the factory have a 27 millimeter sway bar. It's black, but it's hollow. So the TRD sway bar on the front is the same diameter, but it's a completely thick bar. I have both. Obviously, when I removed mine, I compared it the same diameter. It's just a lot heavier. And then the rear, unless you had an added option, none of the Tundras came with them. So kind of what I'm going to talk about is because I started with the rear and then I added the front. If you guys know, if your suspension's stock or whatever, even if you have a TRD Pro, a TRD Off-Road, Rock Warrior, whatever, these, like most trucks, kind of handle like a giant boat. And to me, coming from a Corvette, I kind of wanted something a bit more tighter because I do like to kind of take, corners and turns nicely. So at first, I added the TRD rear sway bar. In terms of overall impact on ride, you really don't notice anything. Like, you're not sacrificing ride quality or compromising anything. What you are going to notice, though, is when you go to take your first turn, once you have your TRD sway bar, you're going to notice the rear of the truck is very flat. Almost like basically like you're driving a car now. It's like flat, like not literally, but like it's very flat, very stable. It's a great modification if you tow a lot. Obviously, I've been off-roading. Doesn't really impact articulation too much. I mean, yeah, if you're like rock crawling somewhere, maybe you're going to run into a situation, but for like 90% of people that just off-road or just basically on-road, that's like a must-do, in my opinion, for these trucks. Now, really simple install. I think I paid, prices have changed now. I think I got it, on a 25% Toyota clearance or whatever. I think like somewhere around $300, and the front was like 120, but prices have changed. I'm going to put both part numbers in the description. Install is very straightforward. You don't have to lift the truck. You're just going to remove the stock bolt because there's going to be a bolt there attached to the receiver, and just install it. You got your U-bolts that attach to the rear diff, and pretty much it. I mean, it takes literally, if you're mechanically inclined, probably less than 30 minutes, and you could take your time, probably take you an hour. Definitely a 10 out of 10. Now, what I kind of want to talk about is people will be like, well, you already have a sway bar in the front. Why would you do the TRD front sway bar? So to me, what I kind of noticed is when I tighten up the rear, you kind of still felt the slop in the front. And when I tell people, what I post on the forums is, when you do both the rear and the front, it really like connects the truck in a sense where it completes like the handling. So it goes from like feeling like a boat to like you're kind of like in maybe like not a compact car, but it feels like kind of like a car now in terms of handling characteristics. The install for this is actually straightforward too. You just remove there's two bolts on the sway bar bushings, and then you have your end links, and you can literally do it. You don't have to lift the truck. You do, I forget if I removed my stock skid plate. I think I dropped my factory skid plate, so you'll have to remove that too. But all total, maybe like an hour or so. I will say, if you do this install, the welded nuts inside the frames are really weak, so please spray down both sides. I'll go here and show you guys. In those holes, you can even pop that cover off. Spray some PB Blast or whatever you want to do, because on my passenger side, I did end up cracking one of the welded nuts on the inside. So what I had to do is, if that happens to you, I think it was a 19 millimeter or 18 millimeter. I took an 19 millimeter crowbar or crow wrench, and I fished it through the frame, put a new bolt in, and then I tightened back up, and then I fished the crowbar out, and that was how it worked for me. Some guys will, maybe cut a hole out if you have a welder and stuff and tack it back in, but it's never moved and it's been good. But I will say now, to talk about kind of like, so you got the pros, right? It's gonna handle like phenomenal. I can literally take turns. It's pretty amazing in the size of a truck. Not saying to do it, but when you're in like a half circle going on the freeway or on an on-ramp or off-ramp, In this size truck, like doing like 45, 50 in that kind of a turn situation is pretty impressive for how big these are. Now, the con for the front, not for the rear. Like I said, the rear, you're not going to feel any negatives. The front, though, I will say, and I'm just being transparent, if you're considering this, it's not really a problem, but you will feel more imperfections of the road in a sense. So, like, in a sense, it's like a bit more, it like stiffens up the front, but like you kind of feel more of the imperfections. So let's say you're driving on a smooth road and then you get to kind of like, there's some cracks or divots. Since it tightens up the front quite a bit, sorry, I'm shaking the camera, I didn't realize it, but it you know, tightens up the front a bit. You're gonna kind of feel that pulling in a sense. So for some people, they might not like that, but you know, for me, it doesn't really bother me. And you got, honestly, I don't even recognize it anymore because I just love how the truck handles. But I will say, if you do your research, that might be the only complaint for the front. I personally like it. I would recommend everybody to do the front and rear. I think the truck ride's so good. And it feels like you're driving somewhat of a compact car in this big size of a truck. So 2 worthwhile mods that I know there's tons of videos on them, but I wanted to kind of speak going from the rear and then adding the front. Definitely a 10 out of 10 for me. I don't plan to take them off. They don't impact articulation, in my opinion. And then with the combination of the 6112s and the 5100s in the rear, it really makes for like a super nice planted truck when driving. And then I've obviously been off-road. It's nice. I have like literally no complaints. And so if people want to kind of mimic the build, go ahead. There's tons of better options. This is a great budget setup, but I think you can get the front and rear TRD sway bars for somewhere around $450. There is they do sell like a kind of like a knockoff kit on Amazon. Kind of buy that at your own risk. I've seen a couple posts on the forums where the bar will split in the middle. You know, that's could be just like a lemon, I guess, but buy at your own risk. So if it were me and you have a Tundra and you're looking to tighten it up, I'll show you guys how it looks under there. Sorry, my lower back's like cooked from hockey this morning. If you have a Tundra or you're looking to buy one, definitely recommend without a doubt, definitely get the rear. If you don't kind of want too bit of a, like I explained, like a stiffening in the front, feeling kind of more of the imperfections in the road because you feel on the steering wheel, then maybe skip the front TRD sway bar. But definitely 10 out of 10, recommend the rear TRD sway bar. It's been talked about a lot. And then I've obviously added this black, you know, these knockoff black Sumo springs, which I've talked about before. They really like kind of, in a sense, beefed up the rear, and it feels like, I'm not kidding, it feels like I kind of like feel like I'm driving like a 3/4 ton truck with how the rear of the truck feels. So, but that's, you know, I've spoke about that in another video. So if you're into it, definitely do the front and rear if you're looking to totally improve the handling of your truck. If not, just enjoy it the way it is. Hopefully this was informational for you guys. Take care.